Morning. I would like to welcome you to the first talk of Bornhack for today. We're going to have Elga Stitch Jonker to talk about the web security map. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you. Well, the Bornhack has been absolutely magnificent till now. Because now I'm a little bit nervous, and also I'm regretting that I have drunk so much alcohol yesterday. And now, 1 hour ago, I started looking for my slides, and they were nowhere to be found. So don't worry, there's a lot to show and tell. But it will have a little bit of an improvisation characteristic to the presentation, and maybe that's for the better. We will find out. Me and a friend of mine made a nice tool. It was called Web Security Map, and it is a tool to monitor governments. And there's like there's this paradigm of the government is monitoring you, and they're keeping you down and under control. That's not the point. The point is the other way around. Let's monitor the government, see what they do, see if they do things correctly, and see if they're of any help. And you can do this in many ways, and one of the ways that you can do this is to see if they're doing the minimum level of security. And that's something that you can automate and you can visualize. And that's what this tool does. I'll first introduce myself. I'm Elger Stitch Jonker. Since last Friday, I'm the provider of cyber. This is we ordered some cyber stickers, so the ones you see around the camp are from that batch. And we had a lot of fun ordering and sorting cyber stickers till 4 a.m. in the morning to make sure everybody would get their share. I have a lot of projects in the hacker community and in the hacker scene. I've been involved in SHA 2017. I've helped founded a few Dutch hackerspaces, and now I'm working on a piece of software which is written in Python. The idea is let's make the world a better place. Let's make it nicer and friendlier. And I will show you what my approach was to that. And I will start with an example from the Netherlands. We have installed web security map software in the Netherlands, and we called it basisbeveiliging.nl, which is basicsecurity.nl. And the other domain was Faalkaart. It's fail map, or map of failure of the government, which was awesome in branding and getting attention. So if you plan of rolling this software out, you can choose something like failmap.dk or something. It will get attention from the government, and that's fun. And things will change, and that's also fun. So I'll show you a little bit of what that software looks like. I also really like the wavy screen. It's excellent. It's really awesome. Here we go. So this is the software running live right now. And what it does is, the shape is the country of the Netherlands. All the areas, colored areas, are municipalities. There's also a map of provinces. Trying to load that now. I hope I did not. Do I have internet? Maybe, maybe not. But here you see all the municipalities at least, and there's a lot. And you see that there's a lot of red areas. Some are orange and some are green. And we can zoom in a little bit on what you're seeing here. For example, there's this island in the Netherlands. It's called Texel. Oh wait. Maybe it's no. This is improvisation now. We can zoom in on Texel and see that they have a number of risks. Currently, they have a number of domains that they expose to the world, like not too many. And there's a lot of things that these domains get checked on. And in terms of security, it's really the most basic, bare bones, kindergarten level of security. Like, do you have your encryption set to on? Do you have some headers set correctly for email and for FTP and for web? So it's really the lowest bar that you can get in terms of security, and that's what most that allows for easy scanning also. And it says that here, for this domain, some things have been checked and they are not correct. And it was last checked 7 days ago, and it was 4 months ago, it was also incorrect. So here you can see that this domain from a test domain from the Dutch municipality is not correct, because you don't need to test your security on test domains, right? No, of course you do. So this is red. But this software tests a lot of really low-level security issues. But it does this en masse, and it displays it in a nice graph, a nice map. And this map is really the key. It's something that can be understood by everybody working at a government, from the management layer, which makes the decision, to the IT operators. And I found that many of the IT operators want to fix things, but are not allotted the budget to do that. Now that they are red on a map, they actually got time and money to fix those things, which is great. You can also filter a little bit. For example, we can filter on the domain name security, DNSSEC. Here you see that almost everybody does that right. You see this nice red area over here with that's actually a domain that is shared by all those municipalities together. And the funny thing is that when municipalities come together and have a project together, nobody is responsible for it. So they all started mailing me like, no, we're not in charge. Please remove us from this list. But if you go to the website, it says that they are in charge. So no, that's really an interesting dynamic that you have. It's also a source of entertainment in that sense. Some areas are gray. Those are probably some scanning issue happened. Most are green, most are doing pretty well. We can also look at the trust of the certificates. So these are all the municipalities that have certificates with trust issues. We can look at the quality of the encryption, which is a lot higher because self-signed certificates are seen as a trust issue. So you see that there's, in terms of absolute quality, it's pretty high. It's not too much red, and we can do that for a lot of other things. For example, these are areas or municipalities that have websites that do not have encryption at all. Same goes for file transfer protocol, FTP. and email. So there are 5 municipalities left that have incorrect email security, which is very low. But that's something that Web Security Map visualizes for you. And you can do that for your country. And that's the point of this presentation. I hope to find people that want to run this for Denmark and every other country in the world. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of entertainment, and the level of appreciation is very high. So if you plan to do this, to run this software for Denmark, you'll have a very nice and entertaining ride. What does this do more? It does some statistics, like who are the worst. These are not municipalities. I think there's a bug or something. I rewrote the whole website a week ago, so just for so that's not so we can see clearly that Amsterdam is currently the municipality with the largest number of high risks, and Nissewaard, which is some small municipality, is a close second. And we can also see that there are municipalities that actually have everything in order, like the Friese Mare or Vere, which are all small municipalities or relatively low number of inhabitants. It creates nice reports with graphs. It creates overviews of what changed over the past few months. What does it do more? It gives an insight of how many services are running, like for example, how many HTTP or HTTPS services are running on IPv4 or 6, which is also, you can see the number of improvements in the last 7 days in totals. You can see the graphs over time over the last year. So here you see, and that's the most important thing. You see this slightly slope that goes slightly downwards, and that means that a lot of security issues are getting fixed, and that's the awesome thing to see, and that's the biggest benefit of running software like this. You can see that very clearly with DNSSEC, domain name security. You can see that last year there were still 60 domains that were not properly protected, and now it's about 10. So they're doing very well, and they're taking this very serious. You can also see this in the trust issues, that they also go down, 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 down. And that's really nice to see. This also gives the owners of the infra the opportunity to actually do something and see that they are achieving something, which is also nice. Well, I think that's basically it. We're running this on a very cheap VPS. I think we pay about 50 euros a month if you have some hardware laying around with some okay specs, like from 5 years ago. You'll be able to run this very easily for 0 euros. And you just get a domain name and you just set it up. Then that's the next part of this presentation. The Web Security Map software is completely open source. It's written, it's a bit hard to see. I'll show the URL more clearly, which is also still very small. So, live editing presentations. So it's on gitlab.com/internet-cleanup-foundation. If you will search for it, you will probably find it. The project is completely open source. It has had funding from the Dutch domain name register, the .nl domain name register. They fund a number of projects, and this was one of them. And this also makes sure that the software will be in development for the coming year, at least. So, and the only goal that we have now is to promote it and help people getting started. So if you want to run this for yourself, if you want to run this, I'm there to help you to get you started and get you past any obstacles and make it easier for other people to install it too. What's more to say? Yeah. Question? Yeah.
Thank you. Is there an easy way to start adding, say, organizations to this list as a non-programmer? So, oh, I want to have my local water board to be scanned as well. Oh, fill it in here, it will generate a report. Can you do that?
Yes and no. The installation of the software is the I'll go into that. What it does, this map is all generated from open data sources. So what's it called? The polygons or the shapes of these municipalities are taken from OpenStreetMap. And the domains that are associated with them are taken from Wikidata. So if you install this, you can basically specify, I want to start with this country, and it will get the data from several layers of your government, plus the domains, and it will start scanning them for you. So that's one big part that solves that problem. And it's possible for a non-programmer, there is an admin interface. I can probably show this, which is basically a standard generic admin. I should not enable my proxy. Not convincing. So if you're running this as a non-programmer, you can just use the admin interface, which is a cumbersome way to add things. You can also do this using the command line. There are videos about how to do that. Yeah, I'm going to log in now and say no, thank you. It takes some time. And basically you'll see here somewhere there's a list of URLs. There's actually in this installation that we're running, there's actually the entire Dutch government with everything, but it's humongous. It's ridiculously large. It is 29,000 URLs now, so it's also gets in the amounts that it gets ridiculous to manage. And what we do now is we just add one domain, for example, Amsterdam.nl, and there are several scripts that automatically find every subdomain from Amsterdam.nl, and it uses several techniques that are well known to security testers, like NSEC1 hashing issues, so you can zone walk the whole domain, etc. But basically, the software will get all domains from a top-level domain. So that helps a lot. So you just enter one domain, and it will find a few hundred more. The last part is we're starting a program that's called Monitor Your Government, which is one of the talks is this one. This is one of the first one, and it tells what this software does and how you can get it and how you can use it. The website is monitoryourgovernment.org. You can see also the what it did in the Netherlands. So when we started, it was like this red blob, and over time, slowly, things started improving and improving. and it's very set to very strict. So if you have one mistake, you are red. So if you are green on this map, that means that you really, really have your stuff in order, which is a very nice achievement. Oh, this is a nice example of how DNSSEC got adopted in the Netherlands. So here you see the changes happening, some improvements to the scanners, and voila, that's like from a lot of red to one giant part of red, because this is another group of municipalities that all share one single domain that nobody dares to manage. So, and they can fight until somebody takes responsibility, until that they are all red. What does it do more? It shows statistics, etc. Oh, there's also something else. Because you're monitoring security at scale of institutions that process a lot of sensitive data, there's this thing that is called ethics, and that prevents you from scanning from actual real security vulnerabilities, like SQL injection or open databases, or admin interfaces that are available to the public. Technically, it's easy to scan them. There are thousands of tools that you can do that. But would you publicize a number of open databases from governments? The result would be that things are getting worse because everybody can now get that data. So we only are able to monitor very basic and trivial security issues. Otherwise, everybody would be able to access all data from everybody. And that's a problem. There are other tools to do that. There are other processes to do that. So Web Security Map does only the basics that you can get away with around the globe. There's a number of videos on the Monitor Your Government websites. It shows how to install this, how to import your countries, how the admin interface works, what you can configure. There's a lot to configure. You can add organizations and URLs using spreadsheets. So you can download the sample spreadsheet and just fill it out with all the domains that you want to add, which is also a great way to add like thousands and thousands of domains. I've tested it up to, like Dutch municipalities is about 7,000 domains now. I've tested it up to 15,000 domains, and it still functions very properly on cheap and low-powered hardware, which is fun. I don't think it will run on your Raspberry Pi, although the latest one has 4 GB or something, so maybe it does. This has made a profound impact on how security and IT is done in the Netherlands for municipalities. For a lot of them, this is the go-to tool to see if they're doing right, which is awesome. And they're also actively trying to help to make the scanners better, to add when they have a new project, they just mail like, oh, we have a new domain, please add it to this list so we can monitor it. And there's some project going on to make sure that they can do that themselves, because I'm not their IT person. I'm just somebody pointing out that, hey, you should maybe do something about this. So yeah, that's basically my talk. If you want to run this in Denmark or your country, I see a lot of people here. Who wants to give this a try? Who wants to? All right, that's a lot of people. Say that we, like in 5 minutes, just meet up here in front of the stage and exchange contact details and see that we can just set us up, because that would be great. And maybe there's more people from the same country, that means that there are more people in one team. That also helps. Um, so this is my contact info for the viewers at home. It's Elger at internetcleanup.foundation. It also has my phone number, which is also public information already. So yeah, that's basically it. Let's meet up here in front of the stage, and if there are any questions, I think now's the time.
Yes, really cool tool. I'm definitely seeing myself playing with it. But in terms of moving forward with it, I have some concerns that of how to actually get this in their attention and take it seriously. Because I'm expecting questions like, okay, we're red, so what? How bad is that? Or I'm not seeing them seeing the really tangible impact of this. Now, I would really like for you to detail how did you manage to get this into the attention of the Dutch authorities?
Well, that's a funny story actually. What I did was when I was working as a pen tester, I was invited as one of the. There was a conference about security for governments, for municipalities specifically, and They had this panel of 4 of these epic hacker people. Like everybody knew them. They've been in the media, and it was me, the hacker from the sponsor. Like that's like you're being paid to sit there and to look good and cool, but yeah, nobody knows you. So I had to make some kind of name for myself. And what better way to do that by just burning everybody that is there? So there was like 200 chief security officers in that room from all kinds of municipalities. And we started with, oh yeah, in the last 3 days I made this map and here you are and you are all red, please do something about it. And everybody started panicking and calling and the buzzing happened. And then there's this security organization that does security for municipalities. They have their they have this thing that helps all these municipalities. They made them themselves, and it got in their attention, and they started mailing everybody like, oh, this tool is new and you can expect press questions from this. So they did the marketing. So there's probably also in Denmark an organization that helps governments improve or municipalities improve their security. And when those people send out the mail, then yeah, and then things will happen pretty well, yeah, I think.
It's also a matter of sending the right link to the most scandalous newspaper, saying, "Look, our government sucks. Look at this."
Yes.
Suddenly, everybody is wake up.
Yeah, there's another alternative is instead of if you cannot get their attention, you can always go to the media because everybody can understand this nice image. And in the Netherlands, there's the Open State Foundation that has done that 3 times, and that really also created this buzz. So, and there's a lot of countries where that didn't happen yet. So there's still room to do that. So you can go to the newspapers and say, this is going on, which has news value, which is awesome. So, yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Hey, could you tell us a bit more about how you find the domains in the regions?
Oh yeah, sure. I have to dig a bit. Let's get some. Let's get Amsterdam, for example. They have a lot of stuff. One of the approaches is they have a lot. There's some graph here. One moment, please. Okay, I have failed. So one of the ways to get domains is there's this technique called domain name security, DNSSEC, and they have various implementations of that. And one is called NSEC1 hashing, which has to do with signing of gaps between domains. And there's a weakness in that you can use to zone walk. So you can start and enumerate all the gaps between domains, and therefore you know all the domains. And there's a tool that does that, and that is called damn it, a very, very popular DNS enumeration tool, also written in Python. But that tool, I've just programmed this wrapper around the tool and asked like, here, this is a domain, get the rest of them, and it responds in like 10 seconds, and you have 100 or 200 domains of a municipality. So it uses NSEC1 hashing. It uses the certificate transparency database. So every HTTPS website, when you register or when you get a certificate for that website, this information is published at a few databases, and you can also scrape those databases. You can ask search engines, what are the subdomains, if you are a little bit creative. So that's what it does. And I think there are one or two other ways that, oh yeah, it also does brute forcing of subdomains in a way that it also understands the wildcard certificate. So it also understands that something is a wildcard and something is not. So even if you have wildcard certificates, it can also brute force, and it does this in a way like municipality A has 10 domains, and we try those 10 domains at municipality B and C and D and all the other ones, and that data set becomes like 20 to 30% correct for every municipality, which is pretty high hit rate. And it does all this accumulation of domains every week. So every week there are more domains. Every week some disappear, and you see that over time. Does that answer your question? Cool.
Any other questions? No? Then I'd like us to give Elgar a big hand for this very inspiring talk.
Thank you. Thank you.